Well,
Welcome.
welcome to Shade in the City. I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nose.
And we are jumping into 90 Day Fiance. We are on, don't get me lying, 13, I think, maybe, possibly. Episode 13, might be 14. I don't know. We deep in there, y'all. But anyways, please make sure as you're coming in that you hit the like button.
And the subscribe button.
And yeah, look, it's spicy. I'm ready to get into it.
Spicy.
And let's get shady.
Look, it looks like we match. We matching all together.
It's copycat day, apparently. It's national. It's National Copycat Day.
Stop copying me then. So Patrick says, it's been a couple of weeks since their Vegas trip and finding out that, her dad doesn't know that they're, supposed to be getting married. And he says, it's been super duper stressful. And, she still doesn't want to let him know that they're getting married. But he said, it's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. He's putting his foot down, but he's still planning a wedding. Apparently, his brother, Matt, and his sister Tiffany are going to be in Orlando on the 22nd.
Look at her with the names.
Don't say that. I knew it. Yes, know me. Okay, so
self-love, people, self-love.
So apparently, his brother and sister are going to be in Orlando on the 22nd, which would have been, I'm sure it was a huge wedding day for a lot of people, 2/22/22. Okay, right. Apparently 22 is his lucky number. So he feels like this is just right. It's just perfect, And Thais is confused. She's like, Orlando. Like, when the fuck did I agree to that? She's like, I wanted to get married in Vegas, but you didn't care about that. You just feel like you need to control everything and, not let me have an input. And he says, I do care. Clearly, that's why I'm having this conversation with you. Mm-hmm. But, I really could have just said, fuck it. And, just made it wherever the fuck I want to because I'm the one with the money. And I could do that. Yeah. I said, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't have took that approach.
Right, right.
But he basically tells her, Orlando's going to be great, and don't worry about anything. We're going to have everything we need. It's going to be great food, great fun. And, I don't know. Part of me, I understand she wants to input, but part of me actually kind of likes that he's like taking the reins on it. And I don't know. Not full control, but he's actually active. Most men are not active in the wedding process.
Okay, y'all, let's get into the thickness of it all, okay? Then we see Thais with her friends. What's their name?
Anadia and
Kayla. Mm-hmm. Now, apparently, these are friends that she made the night that John threw his impromptu housewarming. Mm-hmm. And so Kayla, she met Kayla first and they hung out a couple times and she clearly really liked her. And then Kayla introduced her to Anadia. And I'm sure I'm butchering her name because that's not how Thais pronounced it.
I felt like it is. She just said it really fast with her accent.
Oh, okay. So basically, and then she was introduced to Anadia, who's Brazilian as well. So
she loves the fact they can speak Portuguese to each other.
I be feeling bad because Kayla's sitting there and they having whole conversations.
And Anadia's like breaking it down for her. Like, right. What she said was this.
Right. So basically she talks about or brings up how she feels that Patrick is being super controlling. He apparently even went and picked the makeup and hair person for her. And hear me out. Yes, it's his money. But should we not consider how she may want to look on her wedding day?
Now, listen, when I first saw this scene, I was taken aback. But he did clarify later on that it didn't quite happen that way. So there's, I don't know if there's a language barrier here or, just miscommunication or what, but supposedly she gave the okay. But then once he booked it, she said, well, I didn't even meet the person. So I don't know if she wanted a consultation first, but she did
I
supposedly
have
give
a
the okay.
spot on my face. I'm sorry, it's random. It's standing out to me. Sorry. Now, here's my thing with that. Yes, they do bring it out later in this episode, so I guess we could just go ahead and talk about it. She said he waited 10 minutes. She said he got on the phone. She said, "Give me a minute." Da, 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 and he had already went and booked it. She said he didn't wait 10 minutes before he went and
See,
booked
but
it.
he's saying that she okayed it, that she said, yeah, book it.
I call bullshit. But anyway.
I mean, it could
and
be.
So, and she talks about how she hasn't told her father. They basically look at her, let her know that's not really cool. And you're kind of setting your mans up for failure because, and Nadia is the one that says it. And she's like, if that was my dad, he would probably have animosity towards the guy more than he would me, which we've been saying for probably the last 2 reviews. So,
and it makes it worse now because now he knows. I mean, you really can't blame anyone for, being, ignorance is bliss. You can't really get mad at somebody who doesn't know. You can only get mad at your daughter, but regardless, but parents, they would have still found a way to blame him too.
Right, of course.
Oh, well, he didn't ask for my hand in marriage and you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah. Emily goes into the room, asks Kobe to, go run an errand for the wedding with her. And
he's still not feeling her after her announcement.
The day that not too long after he proposed.
Right. It was supposed to be a special moment.
He's still feeling some type of way.
As he should.
So he's, they in a car and he's like, so where are we going that, you couldn't go by yourself? She's like, well, I just feel that, it's really important that you come with me to go do this. And he's like, are you keeping something from me?
And then she comes out and tells him that she is late, y'all. And he's like,
a couple weeks late.
Right. He's like, I mean, it's okay to be late, like a couple of days. You've done that before. And she's like, yeah, but not like 2 weeks. And I was like, that'll do it. That'll do it.
And he's worried. He's worried as hell because he's like, yo, I can't look your dad in the face, your family in the face, staying with them and have you pregnant. Like, this is super stressful. She's like, oh, it's stressful for me. I'm the only one working, blah, 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 blah. And then they get into who's to blame, okay? He's like, well, she's like, well, you're the one that told me to stop taking birth control. He's like, well, you're the one that told me I can shoot up the club because you got an app on your phone and you said you wasn't ovulating. Let me tell you something. He shut that bitch down then.
She was quiet, and I'm not gonna lie. Emily, that was your fault. I mean, granted, it takes 2.
It does.
But
I mean, you tell the man he can shoot up the club with no consequences.
Right.
What you think gonna happen?
Girl, they live a long time. They don't just die because you think they die.
Right. So they pull up to the store, they go to the pharmacy, get the pregnancy test. And she's like, yeah, we should have got some condoms. Yeah. You think. Then she decides that it's better to take the pregnancy test there at the store rather than go home and, get caught with that shit in the trash or some shit. And finally, good thinking, Emily. Good job. Kara says after the passing of Guillermo's brother, it really put things in perspective for her. And she feels like it's important to celebrate with your family. So they decided to have their 4-people wedding now be a 40-people wedding. And, she says in the past 3 weeks, they've been really buckling down on things for the wedding. She went dress shopping. They met with the officiant. They went
I actually liked her
shopping.
little idea that she was working on, the little Patron takeaways.
I thought that was cute, but I would have thought.
And Patron is my favorite. It would either be that or little bottles of champagne.
But for somebody who's trying to save, I would have thought that would have been a pretty expensive giveaway.
Right. I was like, Patron is not. Patron is not
for the little ones. 40 of them.
Right.
I would think that that's expensive. I would have thought. I don't know. What I would have did if I wanted to give away Patron, but my own little bottles, bought a big ass bottle of Patron. Poured everybody a little something with a little message on the bottle or some shit. Cause we ain't the fuck no. We got to conserve, but we got to conserve.
Yeah. But it was cute,
now the wedding is only 2 days away. Okay. And she says that Guillermo really hasn't helped with anything, except for like emotional support, but she's not mad about it because
he really can't.
He really can't. She's and I respect the fact that,
and I feel like that was a reoccurring theme that we saw this episode. Is like the one person who's planning or has all the money is a little bit overwhelmed with wedding planning because the other person can't help, they can't work, they can't contribute.
And they
So
don't, and like Kara said, they don't know where they are. Like he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know the city. You know, he can't book a cake and say, hey, be here by this time. He doesn't know how far
right.
it is. And I respect the fact that she realizes that. She does say it is overwhelming and it's not fair, which it's not, but what can you do? This is the card you were dealt. So I respect the fact that she realizes that you know, it's not his fault, and you know, she's taking it on because she has no choice. Now Kara is asking Guillermo the details of what he has going on for the wedding, you know, if he got his things done, like his you know, when he gonna do his haircut and you know, I guess like his suit fitting or something. And he's just like,
I got it.
Tranquila.
I'm
I got this. I got this. And you know, that sends her fucking crazy. Okay. She needs to know everything.
right. And then she's like, well, if you just gonna look crazy and unpresentable and sound crazy on your wedding day, because you don't want to rehearse or have somebody proofread your vows. And I said, this is what the hell he was talking about. That is a lot. That did come off very
Control,
motherly, parental. It did.
Mm-hmm.
So we are on a lovely romantic picnic. Y'all know how romance goes when it comes to the vow.
Flutters away.
Right. Because that's how quickly the moment. So obviously we're here with Bilal and Bilal and Shai. Right.
The liar.
Right. Now he is popping a bottle of peach sparkling cider, and I was just like,
I thought about you immediately, Trace. I swear to God.
You know, I would have been so mad if somebody pulled that shit out.
You know what's crazy? I actually started to leave that out my notes, and I said, this is going to be very important. And Trace is definitely going to want to touch on this because it's no alcohol.
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time.
Because it has bubbles. That's supposed to be cute.
So do you think it's because of their religion?
I don't know, because I felt like I saw them drink before, but maybe we didn't. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe we didn't. I just feel like maybe we didn't. Maybe they've been sparkling cider and it looked like champagne and they just didn't bother to tell us. But anyway, they toast to new beginnings and being grateful. She brings up, now I realize this is how you differentiate. It's the ex-wife is
Shahida.
Shahida, and this is Shahida. So
I usually call her Shy.
Right. Mm-hmm. But Shahida brings up the visit, or Shy brings up Shahida's visit, y'all, and says she felt that she came with the agenda to bully and intimidate her in her own home. But I was like, well, why do you feel that way? And, you know, Shy tells him about how she consistently spoke and says she's the kid's mother and she's not going anywhere. She says she never expected her to go anywhere, and talks about the fierce look that was in her eyes. Now,
is it wrong to say that I felt she was being a little bit dramatic?
A little bit dramatic, but we all know Shahida she didn't come over there friendly. That's one thing.
No, she didn't. But I mean, I don't know. And I get that. But
Shy, even though
I felt like it was she was dragging it a little bit.
We know that Shy is very zen and wants, you know, so to me, that probably would be super aggressive to her.
Okay.
Which is crazy because she's with Bilal. It can't be any worse than that. But
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So then she brings up how she also got personal and brings up their prenup. And she was like, I just feel some type of way that someone that is not in my house is asking my fiance about his bank account. Now, I don't know what y'all think, Shade Squad. Drop down in the comments. Because I was on the fence. Shahida is his ex. Is it Shahida? Yeah.
Shahida.
Shahida.
I thought it was Shahida, but he said Shahida.
Okay. Shahida is his ex-wife. And they do share children. If they did not share any children and they were just divorced and they didn't have something in place, I could really wouldn't feel no type of way. However, they do have these children. So no, is it her job to stick her nose in their business? But it's her job to address him. That's what it is. And have the conversation with him. However, I do understand where Shy's coming from, because if I'm going to be a part of your life, I should be a part of those decisions that you're making. So it's a catch-22, because I feel like he should have told her before she got over here about the prenup. I think that was the real problem.
He did. She just didn't take it serious. They mentioned that on the Ferris wheel in Atlanta.
Oh.
He said it to her, but it was like a one-time thing. So she didn't think it was like.
She thought he would fall so in love and forget about it.
I don't know what I thought. I don't know what. Listen. Okay, I don't know what she.
Okay, see, I didn't get that tidbit of information.
I don't know what she was thinking, but she didn't. I don't know if she just thought like, okay, he just brought her up this one time, and I think she even said like she wasn't really feeling it at that point, and she thought it was like dead. But the fact that it came back up on the Ferris wheel, she's like, oh, he's serious. So I think she just thought it was a dead issue because he brought it up, and she was like, no, I'm not interested in that. And clearly he didn't give a fuck about that.
Well, even though Bilal agrees with her that it's their business, he does say it is a business arrangement. Marriage is a business arrangement. And so basically we need to get this taken care of. And so now she's frustrated and annoyed because Bilal has ruined another romantic outing.
So she said that, right? But really, she said that because she said that he brought up the prenup.
Well, can I just say this?
But he didn't bring up the prenup.
He popped the bottle of cider. Go ahead.
You said what?
I said he ruined the romantic outing when he popped the bottle of cider, but go
ahead. For me, it was I felt like she was the one that brought it up because she brought up Shahida in the conversation, and she brought up the conversation about the prenup. And he was basically saying, yes, I agree with you. You know, it's not for her to have a conversation with you about it, but a prenup is important. So I don't really feel like it was him that brought it up. He was just trying to reiterate his point.
Well, here we go. You know, I love me some Jabri and Miona, y'all. Yes, so Jabri is saging the home in an attempt to calm things as Miona is preparing to go talk to Mahala to tell her that they are eloping. Now, I think Jabri says that she volunteered to do it. I think he feels that she wants to try to establish a relationship with his mother. I don't think that she does. I think she just did it to make Jabri happy. Now, she tells them they plan to elope in some, I forgot the name of it. It's in my notes later. It's John something park or something park. They're going to a national
state park.
Right, some state or national park. And, you know, but they're planning to have a bigger wedding a year later where her parents can come and once she has all her paperwork. So anyway, Mahala says that, you know, she's really not sure how to feel about the information and she knows it's important to Jabri. But she's like, I just don't understand because last time we had a conversation, sweetheart, Jabri wasn't interested in marrying you. At least last I heard. And she's like, well, I'll let you talk to Jabri about that. But I was hoping, because I know Jabri wants you there, you guys would be willing to come. And she's like, I just don't think you've given us enough time to make it.
And apparently it's still out of state.
And it's still out of state. So
they didn't say what state it is though.
So, you know, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to make it. And of course, Miona don't really give a damn. She's just like, okay. She knows Jabri is going to be disappointed, but she did what she was supposed to do. She went in there and tried. So then, yeah, no, she goes back and they part ways, and you could just see it in Mahala's face that she's like, I thought this bitch was going back to Serbia. I really
when she said yeah, but Jabri doesn't want me to leave. She just looks so disappointed. She was just like,
right. So y'all, I don't know.
So Eve and Muhammad are headed to go check out a venue that she is super in love with. Muhammad
does not look excited at all.
He doesn't. She knows he's still upset because she had to push the wedding back. She said the first venue fell through. So they're going to see a second one, and she's hoping that he gets excited about this one.
And it was a very beautiful venue.
She literally started
if
crying.
you actually cared about getting married there, but he doesn't give a damn.
She started crying as soon as they pulled into
they ain't even stepped foot in there.
lot.
She was, oh, he says so beautiful. I was like, girl, get a grip.
I don't know.
It's giving
me.
I want a wedding and not.
I wasn't impressed.
Husband.
I felt like it was really old.
But it bothers me because and she kept saying it throughout the episode. Oh, I've waited so it just gives me, you want a wedding, you don't want a husband. You want a wedding.
What, Tris? Okay, jumping Jules.
I'm just saying that's what it's giving. And it's like, and don't get me wrong, yes, I am a little bit more biased towards Muhammad, because I feel like he has been honest with her from gate, before he got over there and even when he's got here, and she's the one living in this world that she lives in her head.
And it's, to me, it's messed up because she's already been married.
Expressing to her, I don't care about that.
My thing is, you've already been married. You've already been through this, right?
She never got married. Remember, she was just with her. She was engaged and then they broke up. She never got married. That's why it's important to her, because it's her first wedding. But that's what I'm saying. She has an idea of the wedding that she's had in her head. But
it can still happen. That's what's bothering me. It can still happen.
It can still happen. And that's what Muhammad is trying to tell her.
And
I get where Muhammad,
and at that point, you ain't even got to pay for the
me as the husband. So the same way you're going to choose a bikini over me. If it's me for you, it should be, you should care more about me. Not saying, now don't get me wrong, Muhammad, I do think it's a little wrong to ask this girl to just rush to the courthouse. However, I don't think it's a big deal to go to the courthouse, spend the $50, $75 or $100 processing fee.
I don't know. Back in the day, that shit was like $30. I don't know if it's
that, like, I know get it popping. And then, as he said, we can still do your ceremony later. He said we can even go to the mosque and get it done sooner. And she's just, I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want people judging me and how my dress looks. Well, guess what? You're with it. And even that I caught. And I was like, you already know, if you feel like you're going to be judged at a mosque, what the do you think Muhammad's going to think? So I don't know what you plan on wearing. But
the thing for me is, I feel like Muhammad is not against having the wedding that she wants. He just wants to make sure he has things in order. Exactly.
And start to establish a life.
So he feels like, you know, they can get married and then later on have the wedding that she wants. And Eve just feels like he is being selfish and wants him to take her feelings into consideration. And I'm not with her on this one, because we need to prioritize, okay? And your feelings are not priority over this man feeling like a man and being able to work.
Okay.
Being able to work, get out of the house
and stay at home and not
feel like a babysitter, like you brought him all the way over here to babysit. And then I feel like that's a huge deal. Like, to feel like you've come from another country of leaving your family and the people that love you and that you love to babysit because you want this grand wedding.
And honestly, it's crazy because I see what you're saying. Now, granted, he's not the most mature. However, I see him wanting to, like, I want to be the man of my house. I want to be able to provide. I want to do this. And she talks about in the beginning,
and that's in his religion.
How much she felt like he was childlike when you knew his age when you got with him. And I really believe that she thought he was going to come over here and be like a kid and was going to do whatever she said and just, okay, Eve. And now that he's like sticking up for himself and that's why I'm always on his side.
That would make me feel like you are on a show that you have never watched, okay? Because all these people that are on 90 Day Fiance that have been with Muslim men, they kind of have like the same kind of mentality. They are to be the man of the house, to take care, make the decisions, and that's what they are supposed to do. That is embedded in them. And how can you do that when you have no income? So Guillermo goes to get his hair cut for his wedding, you know, like he told Kara he was going to do. And, you know, he says living in the DR, he tried like 7 different places and they ain't none of them work out. Okay. And then, he says that after 3 years, he finally found one that was really good. So he trusted that one. And now he is here in the US to trust somebody to cut his hair for his wedding. And let me say something. As somebody who moves, I feel you. I feel you, Guillermo. It is rough. It
It's
is
hard
hard,
to find those. Yeah.
that works for you. So he goes to a hairstylist named Kizzy and lets her know off rip, I get married in 2 days.
I need
This
to look
haircut
good.
need to look perfect. Okay.
And because she'll never let me hear the end of it if it don't.
So Kizzy gets started. She's asking him the details of, his relationship and his wedding. How long have you known her? How long y'all been together? And what type of person is she? And Kizzy lets him know that she was married for 7 years ago, but it didn't work out. But the most important thing to a wedding is to a marriage is communication. And I feel like, everybody, can agree with that. Now he tells Kizzy that Kara is controlling and she likes to do whatever she likes to do and tell him no for a lot of things. Let me say something. Kizzy done put her little 2 cents in this man's business and he ready to change his mind. Okay. She's like, well, is that something you really want to deal with? And he's like, well, I'm hoping and thinking that it'll get better once we get married. She's like, it don't work out that way. She already got you, homie.
Right.
What you need to change? Now she has a point. You cannot not like something or cannot deal with something about a person and expect it to change after marriage. It just does not work that way.
Unless they want to change it.
Unless they want to change it, but if they haven't changed it already and they, you're accepting clearly.
And it's 2 days before.
Of this marriage, clearly you accept it. So yeah. Now Guillermo or Gil is concerned and worried because Kizzy done got in this man's head and look, I don't know if he even want to get married now.
All right, y'all. We are with John and Patrick. They're going to go try on suits. He says Thais is being difficult about getting married in Orlando. And he's taking photos of the suits to send back to her for her approval because I guess he wants her to feel involved since he's been making all the decisions on his own. I saw what he was doing. I peeped it. So, and that's probably the one thing she don't give him about. So now John says he's lucky to have him there due to his impeccable taste, y'all.
Right. That's some shit I would say though.
That was sarcastic as shit when I said that. Do we see how John dresses?
Let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck. That's some shit. I only felt it because that's some shit I would have said. I'd be like, you so lucky to have me here.
I'm like, are you really co-signing John's fits right now? Like, okay.
Not at all. That's what he said. That's what he said.
He's happy to have Patrick alone, since they don't really have that time with Thais around the house. So basically, he wants to ask him some really hard questions. And, he goes in and asks him if he's ready. And,
you was giving Callie just a second ago. I just want to let you know.
Huh?
I said you was giving Callie just a second ago. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh,
really
okay.
Hard questions.
Oh, whore. Yeah.
Whore.
So John asks him if he's ready and basically says that he's moving very fast. Now, Patrick reminds him that, they have to move this fast due to the visa process. He brings up, did she tell her dad yet? And we learned that she still hasn't said anything. And John basically tells us in the confessional, he's just going to let that shit fly. He's still going. He thinks that they'll just get through it and everything will fix itself.
Like I said, he's still planning the wedding.
Right.
You got me fucked up because if I was Thais and I'm hiding all this shit and you telling me, oh, we ain't going to get married unless I tell my daddy and I'm hell bent on not telling my daddy, guess what? You still planning the wedding. Guess what? You already got money invested, time invested, and you're hell bent on going to Orlando and doing it on 2/22/22. So guess what? I'm gonna sit here and let that shit rock.
Well,
because you ain't serious.
Why change if you already got them?
So Bilal sits down with Shy, and he mentions that maybe possibly it was a wrong time to bring up the prenup.
It's always the wrong time
to bring up the prenup, on their romantic evening, their romantic night that they had. And maybe now's a better time. So he presents her with a hard copy, a hard copy.
Sure.
Okay. And she tells him basically, like, despite how hurt and affected I am, like,
you keep bringing this to
you ain't changing your mind, huh?
You keep playing in my face.
She said he ain't backing down. He's basically like, I mean, he didn't really answer, but yeah, that's basically what it is. And she feels like it's not fair because he's giving her a prenup based off his past relationship. He doesn't trust her
because it didn't work out.
Because it didn't work out. And he don't want to go through that shit again. And he says, like, really the prenup is about things that were before she came into the picture. And from the day that they get married, basically after the prenup, they can build things together. And she says, coming from Trinidad, she feels like, she's starting over, like starting fresh, like an infant.
And I think she even hints to that and says, is there a silent partner behind this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
well, she says, having this prenup in front of her helps her realize that, like, if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, like, really, she couldn't. Because
she needs to be working to build herself up.
Whatever, because the way he explained it was, whatever I have before you is mine. That's what the prenup says. But whatever we build together, we split. And she feels that if, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, what will she have to build? She won't have anything to build. So
she can't work.
If things don't work out, then she'll be going back to Trinidad with children or whatever and won't have anything to split. She won't have any financial anything. And I understood her from that point. But then Bilal says, well, do you plan to cheat on me? Do you plan to leave me? And she says no. And apparently, according to him, what the prenup says is the prenup only comes into play if you cheat on me or if you leave me. So
basically, regardless of how crazy I might be, an OCD, and I might drive you motherfucking nuts up a wall, and you can't deal with it one day, you can't leave me, and you can't ever cheat on me. That's basically what that says.
And see, I'm not 100%. I'm trying to go through my my notes. I'm not sure if he said if you leave me. I know for sure he said if you cheat.
I felt like he said if you divorce me or if you cheat on me.
The thing is, I can see both sides. I can see.
I do see both sides of the argument,
and I see where he's coming from as well, because you're coming from another country, and as an American, okay, in America, it's embedded in us. Someone from another country that's trying to come here, they really just want you for the green card, right? And I feel that's where he's coming from as far as if you leave me, right? As well as, him having this insecurity about everyone that he loves leaves him. Okay. Right. So he could be worried that, I just want to make sure, and this goes into to the trust thing. I want to make sure that you're not here just for the green card. Okay. So if you leave me, you pick up and leave, whatever, you're not getting half of whatever I've worked for before you. This is for my children. And I can understand him wanting to protect his children and protect their assets.
Absolutely.
I get that. Okay. And I really don't feel that she's entitled to that, especially because he has children.
No. I don't think she's entitled to anything for the kids. I do think that he has to put something in place.
What I think could possibly, well, I don't know, because I was going to say, I don't feel that she's entitled to any of that. But from the day that they get married moving forward, if he said, okay, well, whatever I work for is mine and whatever you work for is yours, and we do it that way, I feel like she would still feel like that's fucked up. Mm-hmm. But he's not saying that. What he's saying is, I'm the breadwinner. Okay, I make the most money. And whatever we both build together, we split in half. So I don't know, maybe I'm not seeing it the way she's seeing it. I'm not seeing it as if I stay home and I don't bring in an income, that means that I don't get shit.
I get what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I'm seeing it as your duty is to go out, take care, you know, bring in the money. My duty is to stay home, build the family, and everything before I came in, we split in half. And if that's what the case is, I don't see an issue with that. As well as, I don't see an issue with the fact that, motherfucker, if you fuck up, you don't get shit. Or you get half of what the fuck we built.
Right.
Versus most motherfuckers would be like, well, if you fuck up, then you just fuck up. You out of here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, when he broke it down as far as the prenup, I don't know. I kind of felt him. And honestly, if I was him, I would be a little bit reluctant to even get married, because after I just broke it down to you with what it says and you're still upset about it, if you don't have,
I think it's about her living in this fairy tale, and in fairy tale, we don't, in Cinderella, there's no prenups, right? There's no prenups in Snow White and Little Mermaid.
We're in reality though.
I
mean, in reality, you have children. In reality, you stay home, you take care of your children. You can't pick and choose when you're in reality and when you're in a fairy tale.
I feel like this. I feel like I feel like she wouldn't be so against it if he would at least meet her halfway with the kids thing and actually say, hey, we are, you know, let us get married. Let's wait till a year after we're married.
That's another thing. He brought up this prenup twice to her, and she has yet to reiterate the fact that she wants the children in the prenup.
Right.
So is that even still in play? And if it's not, then what are you fighting so hard for?
Well, so Miona goes back to report to Jabri and telling him, you know, how the conversation went with his mom. Now, Jabri believes somehow the sage helped the situation. So Mahala is having a conversation with Jabri's stepfather, Brian. And, you know, she talks about the conversation with Miona, and Brian is just sitting here blown. He's like, oh, so she's going back to Serbia? And Mahala's like, no, she's not.
Our plan didn't work.
Right. That's exactly what it felt like. So she lets him know that she's made a compromise and they still plan to get married, but they're just doing it at the Joshua Tree Park. That was the name of the child. Now, Brian feels like it's BS. I think that's the first time we heard him cuss. He is like, I am not here for supporting a train wreck. I think this is crazy. And Mahala, which is so crazy, I knew we didn't like her.
Mahala?
No, I mean, I knew she didn't like Miona. But it kind of made me feel a little like she was being a little two-faced. Once Miona got in her face when she came to talk to her. Because I can understand how Miona felt like, oh, well, the conversation wasn't that bad. She seems like, hopefully she's warming up to me. And then you see in the next scene, she's sitting there with Brian talking about, well, I don't, you know, regardless of how we feel about her, we don't want that to cause any friction between us and Jabri.
I didn't feel that way, because at the end of the day, you have this woman staying in your house, and she's staying in your house because of your son. You don't want to upset your son. You love your son. You want to support him. You really want him to leave this bitch. So what you don't want to do is make it seem, especially to her, like you really don't fuck with her. Because we both know the more you push a motherfucker away, guess what? The more they come together.
No, you're right.
So, and she's a therapist. Okay, she knows this. I really feel like, yes, she does not really fuck with Miona like that. And because she sees things that we don't. She's in the house with her all day.
That's true.
24/7. But she still wants to support and be there for her son without upsetting Miona, because when Miona gets upset, Jabri gets upset, and then they have to sit down and have a conversation. So who she can be vulnerable with is who? Her husband. Her husband knows how she feels. They both know how each other feels. So I didn't see anything wrong with that conversation.
I felt they could have waited till they got off camera. That's what they've been doing. Clearly they've been saving that for pillow talk. I feel like she could have waited for pillow talk. But no, she wanted to let us know.
That would now
Both
that
feel
that would that would have been super fake, because then we would have had no idea that how she really felt, other than what Jabri and Miona said.
right.
And you know what I mean?
And as
So,
I said, Miona reports back to Jabri, and she lets them know that the parents aren't coming, but you know that she did feel like she made some headway with his mom, and you know he knows that she tried, and so that's kind of where they're at.
Kara and Guillermo are having their final date as unmarried people. I don't want to say single, okay, but unmarried people, okay.
Right.
And you know, he wants to talk about the conversation he had with Kizzy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it weird that I feel some type of way? Her name is Kizzy.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So he tells her, you know, he's really excited to get married, but he is a little bit nervous after talking to people. And Carol's like, who the hell you been talking to? Like,
Right, what people? You ain't had no
you
friends.
know what though? I felt her, because sir, you don't even look like, what? You been here for how long? You don't know nobody?
Right. Everybody I know, you know. So who you been talking to?
Right? The barber. So, you know, he talks to her about her going out and her being controlling. And he's like, yeah, you know, I was talking to them, the people, about this. And Kara says, you know, this is really concerning for her, because
It's
she's
2 days before the wedding.
overwhelmed with love for him. I thought that, I don't know why. I was just like, oh. Because
He
sometimes
you could tell she was just like, oh, we're getting married in 2 days. And so
let me tell you
and
something.
he did come with that shit. He did.
I never get that vibe from Kara. Okay,
Right.
ever, never, ever, 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 never. But when she was like, well, this is concerning because I feel overwhelmed with love for you, I was like, Cameron, don't break her heart. Oh my God. Like, what? She is being vulnerable. Stop it.
Right.
So, you know, he clarifies, he says, you know, I'm not saying that like I'm not in love with you or I don't want to get married. I'm just saying, like, is this shit gonna go on forever?
He brings up her party all the time attitude. And
she feels like, you know, this is something that like really should have came up before 2 days before their wedding. She was like, maybe before we got engaged. And he's like,
but it has come up.
It has.
It has come up. He addressed it.
What she was saying was it should have came up before he proposed. And he's like, I proposed to you over a year ago, and we were living in DR at the time. Like, it was not the same situation.
But she's more comfortable.
No. I agree with you. She was a different person. She was a different person in DR. And I felt it when he said that. Now that we are here in the US, you are controlling, you're overbearing, you feel like you need to run everything. It's totally different. Now, in certain aspects, especially after she explained the wedding planning and stuff like that, I get it. But with the, did you plan your haircut? Did you do your, like, let this man be a man. Relax, lady. Okay. And apparently she didn't have that in DR, where I guess, you know, maybe, you know, he knew the area or whatever, you know, he felt like, you know, he took the reins. But I like the fact that he was able to rebuttal that and be like, well, no, but she was a different person a year ago. It's totally different. Totally different.
He also goes into the fact that she's basically comfortable now, that she's back in the States, in her home, where she knows everything. And he's like, and I've talked to you about this going out all the time. And like, I don't want to do that. And I don't want my wife doing that, basically. And, you know, she's like, well, I always thought you loved me as I am. And she says in the confessional, she's now rethinking things because it makes her feel some type of way. Because she was like, one of the reasons that I love him, I thought he accepted me and all my bullshit.
Why did you think that?
Because he wanted to marry her. Even though he knew she had bullshit about her.
He came and
she drinks till she passes out type shit. Like, we are back with Muhammad, who is making himself coffee. And he sends a lovely text to Eve saying he needs to find another sponsor. Now, she's like, what is going on? And he also includes that you are wasting my time. So she comes out the room and she's like, why would you do this? Why would you say this to me, Muhammad? I don't understand. And she reminds him that they have to get married first. And he says, okay, well, let's go do it. And she's like, well, we are going to do it. And she gets upset at the thought of the courthouse. And he says he doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn about that. He done told you that. He tells her when she cares about him, then they can talk. But right now, and she's like, why would you see I'm upset? Da, da, da. And he's like, I'll care about you when you start worrying about me. And she's like, well, you don't think I worry about you? I'm paying this and I'm paying that. And he was like, you knew when I came over here that I couldn't work.
Exactly.
I was like, if that wasn't, you knew what it was when you signed up, I'm telling you. So she's just like, well, you can't do it without me. Like, I think she keeps trying to hold that over his head. And he was like, well, I've basically been doing research. Like, I feel like there has to be another way. And she's like, no, clearly you don't know what you're talking about. Well, if that's the case, you just march down to immigration. And I'm like, you know what?
Don't let him go to immigration, boo. He gonna get more information than he looked up, okay?
Right. That he could leave you and be here for the next.
Exactly. Or not be with you, still be here and still have your ass paying all the shit that you're talking about. Oh, I care about you because I pay this.
So he basically said that I already told you getting married legally has nothing to do with the wedding that you desire. They both accuse each other of being selfish. She talks about the money and the responsibility she has. And then he goes in, like I said, this is how you got me here. And then also says, and yeah, you have the responsibility of Theron, but you also have me watching him as well. I said, ooh, y'all done got Muhammad hot today. So she's like, I've just never seen this side of him. I don't understand what's going on. And she can't see how he could be so hurtful. And that gives her room for concern. Oh, and then Muhammad tells her, buy me a ticket back to Egypt. And he's serious. He's real serious.
Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Hey!